We are surrounded, no, engulfed by a rapidly growing and increasingly self-aware dog owner culture. Millennials have overtaken boomers as the largest pet owning group in the country. And by some counts, over half of them own a dog. As Amanda Mull writes in The Atlantic just last month, quote, "The pet ownership rate is even higher among those with a college education and a stable income. The same people who are most likely to delay marriage, parenthood, and home ownership beyond the timeline set by previous generations," end of quote. But the millennials who are buying homes are equally obsessed, it seems. A recent survey found that 33% of home buyers gave their dog as the main reason for buying, outranking marriage and children as the incentive. Dogs have become walking, breathing symbols of the good life, leading actors in fantasies of how we should live, whether those fantasies are normative or anti-normative. In other words, whether we are looking to hack late capitalist captivity or hoping that conformity with late capitalist captivity will bring the relief that it promises. More and more and more of us are looking to dogs to, as she writes, soothe the psychic wounds of modern life. We live in times of dog abundance. Canidae, the biological subfamily consisting of dog-like as opposed to cat-like carnivores, are the most abundant and adaptable mammals on Earth, living on every continent except Antarctica. While so many apex predators are going extinct due to human presence, wild canids are thriving, in large part because they seem to adapt especially well to those same places where humans live. Coyotes, whose numbers are always on the rise, it seems, and whose range continues to expand across the globe, especially thrive in proximity to cities. Even as some wild dog species are verging on extinction, the African wild dog is one of the most endangered mammals on the planet. There are at this moment more canids on the planet, both wild and domesticated, than ever in history. And domestic dogs are the world's most populous large animals, weighing in at around 1 billion, outnumbered only by the livestock that humans raise, right? And the humans that raise that livestock for food. The COVID adoption craze is just one stage in a much longer process, which NPR now calls the pet revolution. Dog ownership has been steadily on the rise since the 90s. Euthanasia rates have declined dramatically from around 10 million dogs killed per year in the 90s to around 700,000 a year now. Veterinary medicine has grown, and the pet industry keeps generating more and more jobs, from groomers to trainers to behaviorists to pet photographers, even like end-of-life pet photographers, right? The last photograph that you have taken of your dog before euthanasia. And then there's the issue of food. Dog food is more expensive than ever, and the apparently endlessly ballooning dog food industry is under scrutiny for the low quality food it is selling at ever higher prices to owners who are clueless about what they're actually feeding. Despite the fact that this relationship is grounded so firmly in food, we have less and less of an idea of what our dogs should be eating, exactly as we have less and less of an idea of what we should eat. We are leaning on dogs more heavily than ever for the emotional labor of sustaining an unsustainable world. This form of extraction lives in unexpected places, not only in actual dog-owner relationships, or even in the recently invented abstract category of emotional support animal, but in TV shows, in presidential elections, right? We remember Major Biden made national headlines as the first rescue dog in the White House, on TikTok, and even in our online dating profiles, where a photo with a dog increases one's appeal so much that people have begun dog fishing, posing with dogs that aren't theirs. Exactly what it is that we're trying to get out of dogs is less and less clear. Is it possible that life with dogs is actually unproblematically better than life with humans? Today, dogs populate our social media, and not only in the already not only as Instagram influencers, but ever more weirdly, right? TikTok is a theater for training wars. Dog abundance is getting more complicated as humans struggle more and more with social life, not only with doing it, but with the question of what it even means anymore. So the tension between dogs as this kind of space of futurity change and a new lease on life, which extends to the life of the planet, on one hand, and that of entrenched patterns of economic growth and the attendant exhaustion of life on the other, has never been more palpable. This is my first sci-fu, and I am not a scientist. My secret hope is to meet thinkers who are also obsessed with dogs and can see dog ownership as an underexplored area of great opportunity to think through our condition, right? What should we be feeding dogs? How should we feed them? What have we learned from mapping the genome? What are the limits of that project? What are the predictions for the future of wild canids? What's the latest research in dog behaviorism and psychology? Right? Is there new technology in the works that might help humans understand dogs better? What is going on in breeding, right? As new breeds are emerging and others are dying out, like in the case of the American pit bull being actively destroyed. What are trends that the public should be aware of? Thank you very much.